In this video, I'm going to explain to you guys how you can gear up and become more powerful in Destiny Rising, talking about the relic abilities, the artifacts, the weapons, the talent trees, and all the things that you need to know, including where to get those resources. The first thing that we're going to take a look at is our weaponry and how that plays in. Now, you've probably seen that there's multiple tiers of weaponry. You have your rares, you have your mythicals, you have your legendaries, and you have your exotics. Keep in mind that you are only able to upgrade or equip one exotic at a time, kind of like in the original Destiny games. But all of these weapons not only can be enhanced and stuff, but they also have their own gear level, traits and powers and mods and stuff. So to break it down, now that we are actually having mythical weapons dropping, you're going to want to start target focusing those. Specifically, say you're running a wolf and you're looking for a sworn oath, you're going to want to do activities that specifically drop that character's items. You can see if you click on the source item exactly where all these abilities or items are going to be dropping from. So pretty much this weapon here is dropped from almost everything in the game. And the first thing that is kind of you want to look at as you're training is the traits. So each weapon, depending on the type of weapon it is, it's going to have different perks. So there's 2 perks that randomly roll each time the weapon drops, and you can see that there's this little recommended perk that the game is trying to help us pick a good perk for this weapon. So you can take a look, and as you guys are building out your crafting your builds and stuff, you can figure out what exactly you want to use for min-maxing and let that kind of dictate your builds. Now, the other thing that you want to make sure you're doing is enhancing your weapon. You can see that it's still locked before we can get to, I believe, the max is level 10, but you want to make sure you're upgrading this because it's not only going to boost up your power, it's also boosting up your damage, your DPS, and all the things. And if you're ever pouring your materials into a weapon that you no longer wish to use, you can always reset the item and take a 10% loss on mythical weapons, but get back most of that loot. Another thing is raising the actual gear level. So you can use these experience cores to upgrade it, and on say lower leveled weapons you can use other weapons to kind of boost up the gearing level there. And the other thing is the mods. So this is kind of where it gets a little more confusing because there are so many mods, it looks like, in the game that are going to be presented to you so that you can basically add another level of crafting. The few things that you want to keep in mind is, so there's 3 mods slots per se, and these are primarily going to be dropped from your front lines and other kind of events that you do throughout the game that you can see for strikes, an example. And the thing is with mods is once you equip a mod to a gun, that mod is now fully stuck to that gun. It cannot be removed or anything. And so keep that in mind as you guys are applying mods and stuff. But just like with weapons, there's different types of rarity for mods that have different tier quality. As you can see, they also have their own random attributes, whether it's range or armor piercing or whatnot, as well as they have these origin traits, which are, it looks like, dependent on the level of quality of the thing. The other thing is, as you can see, if I'm hovering over this blue mod and it's using my current trait here, this synthesize, it's depending on the mod that I'm using, it is boosting that mod's perks ability. So that's another thing. So for example, with the blue mod here, I'm looking at a +4 there. With this one here, I'm looking at a +6 on that first weapon damage. So keep that in mind. You may want to save these more powerful weapon mods and boost those on the weapons that you really care about. And once you dismantle a weapon mod, I can show you the currency that you're going to be using for those are these here mod fragments. And the primary way you're going to get them is running Morgan's Prey, as well as just any of the mods that you dismantle. They're going to continue to give you more of that currency. Now, the other thing is this little green item. The game kind of has this on autopilot for you, that it is telling you that you have a better upgrade available. So if you don't really know exactly what you're doing, anytime you see that little green arrow, make sure you just follow that. It'll boost you up. to basically the maximum level allowed that your character has. Now, getting into relics, these are kind of your supers and your special abilities for each character that you have. You want to just, it's pretty straightforward on these. You just farm these materials, which you can kind of get there, as you can see, as well as buy through some of the weekly vendors. And you just want to make sure that you're maxing these out because they are upgrading your abilities, including this little side tree that we are able to upgrade slowly as we progress through the campaign, as well as your weapon mastery, which is just pretty self-explanatory. It boosts your weapons in the way they work, and they just take these sourced materials, which you can click on the sources to see exactly where to get them. And same, you can reset a character while the handbook is currently active. If you are, for example, changing your mind on what main you want to do, or if you just need to quickly build someone up and now you don't want to waste your artifacts, or sorry, your materials into that. The other quick thing I'm going to touch up on is the talent tree. Now, Wolf talent points, the light crystals, are going to be achieved through the primary quest line. So he is basically going to be our quickest and easiest way to get a maxed out powerful character. And these traits are very powerful. Like you can see they're reducing times, they're increasing damage by 50%. I've managed to pull 3 of this guy, and so I have 2 of the abilities in here already, which is basically, it kind of sucks because you have to for sure spend a lot of draws and stuff to get him. But the other thing that you can do is, as you're doing draws, you can go into the fortune shop here, and you are able to buy 1 light crystal a month for 360 of these fortune crystals. That is if you save them up per month to upgrade your character's talent tree like that. Now, finally, the last thing I want to touch upon are these artifacts. Now, this is going to be our other primary ability and way to boost our characters, kind of like our weapons. And so we have our basic kind of idea of what they do. You have your health and your shield and things of that nature. But here you can see all the actual perks that some of these abilities have. So artifacts will have a basic primary stat on them. So for example, these nimble grounds, they take 10%, you're taking 7% less damage while moving. Or the inverted guard, which gains 31% shield when your health is falling before a certain percentage range. So these artifacts sets have their own stats, but then as you saw, the actual artifacts themselves have these randomly rolled attributes on them, and I believe you can see all of them if you just go here, and you can see the whole list of all the actual attributes that are available. So for example, arc boost, it's going to boost damage. Now you can see that there's this 0 out of 20 tiers, and you can see it goes all the way down to tier 10 here with 220 for the maximum ability. And so the way you are going to basically be channeling that is these attribute scores. So you can see that, so for example, this blue has a 6 to 15% odd, it's the roll of 6 to 15 of where it could get it. And as you can see, the higher our gear level is, the higher chance we have getting those higher numbers. So for example, our mythical here, it's at a 60, so you're getting that 35 to 55 range. And these things are basically feeding into how much of this attribute tier you are able to get. So for example, on this one, I'm currently at a tier 1, and you would want to work your way up to tier 10 by farming different drops so that you can get a better spread. And now I believe that not all artifacts are equipable for every character. I believe that there may be certain artifacts that are used for certain characters. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But the also thing I wanted to mention is the place that you're mainly going to be getting them is through the singularity thing, which is cool because it also allows you to kind of focus exactly what kind of artifacts you want to use, and you can see which characters, yeah, so I should be right, where it's usable by said characters, where these ones usable by these and stuff. So if you have a certain character that you are trying to build up, you want to be target farming those artifacts specifically so that you can boost up that power level for that character. So that pretty much is the quick guide to how to gear, how to get the power and stuff. And as we progress through the campaign and stuff, a lot more things are going to be unlocked. We're going to get more weapons. Our power level is the cap's going to increase, because if you guys didn't know, the actual level cap as well increases our power. So for example, at 55 we are right now, you can see going into 56 we're going to get that basic boost power, where if I can scroll all the way back down here to, for example, 29, 27, we were, at half that power. So by the time we get 80, you're going to creep up a lot higher in that power level and power cap. So if you are just returning or just kind of joining the game, if you speed through those levels really quick, it's a quick way to boost up your character's power. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, enjoyed the quick guide on exactly how you guys can power up your weapons and artifacts and talent trees and whatnot. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, a comment. If you have any other questions, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more Destiny Rising content. And I will see you guys in the next video.